What is going on YouTube? This is another edition of 717 Sports Chat Live Previews. I'm your host, Marcus J. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Your support is greatly appreciated. As I said, this is a 717 preview of UFC 266, Volkanovski versus Ortega, World Featherweight title on the line tonight in the main event. But you also have a really good card underneath this. Then we have some quality fights. We have Jessica Andros versus Amanda Coviello, Curtis Blades versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik in a heavyweight matchup. The much anticipated return of Nick Diaz versus Robbie Lawler. This is their second fight against each other. Valentina the Bullets and Sancho versus Lauren Murphy for the for the flyweight women's championship, as well as the main event, Alexander Volkanovski versus Brian Ortega for the UFC featherweight championship belt. So don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, as well as hit that comment section. Let me know what you guys think about tonight's card. We're going to do a quick preview rundown of tonight's card, and what to expect. As well, once again, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Your support is greatly appreciated. As well as if you want to make a donation to the channel, Cash App, cash tag 717SCL is the donation link. You can also find that link in my description on my YouTube channel as well in the top right-hand corner of my photo. With that being said, let's move on to the first fight we Josh having some lag. All right, there we go. Fix that up a little bit. But the first fight we got is former UFC strawweight champion Jessica Andros going up against Amanda Coviello in a match of contenders in the flyweight division. I like Coviello. I like both of these girls. You know what I mean? But if I'm gonna have to give the tilt, I would have to give it to Andros just from what I see so far. Like a Coviello, like she's got okay striking. She's got, okay takedown defense. She can, submit you, etc. But Andros is so damn powerful. And I just think that if Andros can get a hold of her consistently, this should be an easy night for her. I could be wrong. I mean, Coviello might come out with a good game plan to stay on the outside. And she showed, in her fight against Cooper that she can also work off of her back and catch a submission. But I just think that this is a different animal, and Jessica Andros given the strength and the championship pedigree and experience. But that's my opinion on this fight. I think Jessica Andros is going to win this fight by decision. I think her wrestling will be the key focal point and will be the reason why she defeats Amanda Coviello. But hit the comment section. I want to know what you guys think. Next fight is Curtis Blades versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik at heavyweight. It's a matchup of heavyweight contenders. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't expect much from this fight. I'd expect this to be a snooze fest. You know what I mean? I do. Curtis Blades, everybody knows, not a really big banger. He's a wrestling type of fighter. He's a really good wrestler, fantastic wrestler, grade A wrestler. And Rozenstruik, as we all know, he's a guy, he waits for the big bomb, and he has the power to put your lights out. And we've seen Curtis Blades be susceptible to that before with Derek Lewis, etc. You know what I mean? He'll wrestle a guy for 2-3 rounds, dominate, and then get caught with that one shot and then goes to sleep. And Jairzinho Rozenstruik definitely has that power to do that. But I expect Curtis Blades to win this fight by decision. I'm gonna go with decision. I would say submission, but I don't see it happening. You know what I mean? I just think he's gonna wrestle him, keep him at bay, avoid the big shot. I think he will be more aware of the big shot, unlike he was with Derek Lewis. I don't think he's gonna allow himself to slip and get cocky. You know what I mean? think he's going to allow himself to catch that big shot. And if he stays away from that big shot from Jairzinho, this should be an easy match for Blades because we don't. Jairzinho doesn't wrestle. You know, he's a big banger. He's one of those. He's the same type of fighter Derek Lewis is. They will hunt for the big shot, and if they can catch you with the big shot, it might be over. So that's my take on Curtis Blades versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik. I have Curtis Blades winning this fight by unanimous decision. Now, let's move on to the fight that everybody is talking about, and that's Nick Diaz versus Robbie Lawler, the rematch. And this fight on last minute was changed from a 170-pound bout to a 185-pound bout. I kind of think this was already in the cards for it to be at 185. They kind of wanted to test the water and see if it could happen at 170. And Nick probably was like, "No, I'm not killing myself like that. We're fighting at 185." So they made the fight at 185. Now, I honestly think that actually benefits Robbie a little bit more. I'm not saying because Nick to me is a natural 185 pounder. So I have no, qualms about him. It's just to me, it's going to be more octagon rust than anything because he hasn't fought in 6 years. But for Robbie, I think it's a big advantage for him for this fight to be at 185 because of his advanced age. Now he doesn't have to suck that. He didn't have to suck down all that weight to 170. He got to eat. You know what I mean? And I think that's a big thing for a guy, at the age of Robbie Lawler to not have to drain that much weight and be fatigued by the time of the fight. I genuinely, the reason why Robbie Lawler is on a 4-fight losing streak is because he needed to move up to middleweight maybe a year or two ago. You can clearly tell the weight cut down to 170 was kind of killing him. And when you seen him at the weigh-in the other day, he looked good. He looked healthy. Not saying that not at 170 he didn't look in shape, like he didn't look fit. He always comes in, fit for whatever weight he's in. But, when you're at that advanced age and you got to cut weight to get down to 170, that could be detrimental to you in the fight. So I think this really gives Robbie Lawler an advantage because he got to eat and he didn't have to lose too much weight. He looks stern at 185. He looked like he did at welterweight a few years ago. That's how he looked at the weigh-in. Now, as I said, for Nick, man, I'm so happy to see this guy back in the octagon. He's always been a pleasure to watch. Him and his brother, two of my favorite fighters. You know what I mean? I've always been a little bit more fan of his brother, a little bit more. You know what I mean? Just because, Nate's swagger, speaks for itself. But, Nick, former world champion in his own right, Strikeforce world champion. Like I said, it's just going to come down to octagon rust. But, excuse me, when you know how to fight, there's no such thing as rust. We've seen it with Nate. Nate, took 3 years off? Didn't fight for 3 years. Now, granted, Nick's been off double that time, 6 years, so that's a little bit different, obviously. But I think when you know how to fight and you're a natural-born fighter, you know what I mean? Octagon rust, ring rust, etc., that, especially if you're in shape, if you're in fighting shape, I don't think that matters. Like I said, we've seen it with Nate when he came back and fought Anthony Pettis after 3 years off. Everybody was saying the same thing. Oh, that rust is going to kill him. That rust, he's not going to look the same. And what did he do? He picked him apart. He picked on Anthony Pettis apart. And if you look back at the last fight between Robbie Lawler and Nick Diaz, you can kind of almost expect the same thing to happen because of the reach of Nick. I don't know if Robbie's going to be able to get inside that reach. Granted, it's been a lot of time that has passed since that first fight, and Robbie in his own right became welterweight world champion. So, obviously, he definitely made certain adjustments to his fight game in his career in order to get that to that peak level. This is a tough fight to call for me. I'm going to say Robbie Lawler wins this fight. And a lot of people are going to be like, ooh, I'm not saying it as like I want Robbie. I mean, I wouldn't be mad if either one of these guys won this fight. They're both great fighters. They're both legends in the sport. You know what I mean? So, but I'm going to lean towards Lawler. I think him not having to cut weight, him looking stern at 185, him being more active, obviously over the last 4, 5, 6 years than Nate. Nate hasn't fought since fighting Anderson Silva and since 2015 because of that USADA suspension. I think that Robbie's going to come in rejuvenated at 185. He's going to feel good, and I think he's going to try his best. And if he can get inside that guard of Nate, if Nate even looks remotely what he looked in that shadow boxing video, which I don't think that's really what he's going to look like tonight. But if he looks even a hint of that, especially early on, I can see Robbie trying to push the pace and press him, and maybe trying to do some big damage to get him out of there early. With that being said, I'm going to lean towards Robbie Lawler in this fight. I mean, I want Nate to win to a degree. Like I said, I wouldn't care. I really don't care who wins this fight because I'd be happy if either one wins. I would like to see Nick. See, I get that mixed up. I like to see Nick win this fight just because he's been off for so long. And granted, the reason he was suspended was just purely fucking stupid. But I wouldn't be mad at either one of these guys win this fight, and I'm actually leaning towards Robbie Lawler to pull it off, just based on the activity and based on the fact that he's not having to suck his weight down to 170. But that's my opinion. I'm going to go with Robbie Lawler wins this fight by decision, by a close decision. But I want to know what you guys think. Hit the comment section. Let me know what your predictions for this fight. How do you see this fight playing out? Do you agree with me that this is going to be a benefit to Robbie Lawler, that he doesn't have to cut weight to 170 and that he, obviously got to eat and not have to shred too much weight getting to 185? Or do you think it won't make much of a difference and we will see the same result as we saw in the first fight and Nick will just pick Robbie apart from distance? Hit the comment section. I want to know what you guys think. Next fight is obviously women's flyweight championship. The champion, my girl, Valentina Bullet Shinshenko, going up against Lauren Murphy. I'll be honest with you guys. I really don't know much about Lauren Murphy. I've seen a few highlights, etc. You know what I mean? She's an okay fighter, in my opinion. Do I think she's a threat to the throne? No, but we've seen stranger things happen in fighting. This is fighting, so anybody with a punch has a chance. Anybody with, especially in the UFC, with a lock hold has a chance. Be that as it may, I'm going, of course, with Valentina. I just think she's just levels and levels above everybody else in that division. That's just my opinion. I just don't see this girl touching her. There's levels, and she's at an entirely different level. The only way Lauren Murphy can win this fight, in my opinion, is if Valentina Shevchenko isn't Valentina Shevchenko tonight and something's off. That's my opinion, though. Hit the comment section. I want to know your guys' prediction on this fight between Valentina Shevchenko and Lauren Murphy. All right, we're going to move on to the main event. Like I said, this was going to be a quick preview. I wanted it to be longer, etc., but it just makes no sense. We can fly by quick. The prelims are already going, etc. I am going to be doing live commentary for the main card, so I do want to get that, set up and pushed out there so we can get some heads into the stream, etc. So we're going to move on to Alexander Volkanovski versus Brian Ortega for the world featherweight title. I honestly don't think Volkanovski should be defending this title anyway because I had him losing his last fight to Max Holloway. I had that fight 3 rounds to 2. Holloway, I felt that, granted, you can make an argument that Volkanovski won the last 2 rounds and maybe one of the early rounds. I didn't see it that way. I saw it that Max Holloway won the first 3 rounds and then maybe Volkanovski stole the last 2. Be that as it may, Volkanovski's still the champion, and he's going up against Brian Ortega. And I think this fight's going to come down to, for Volkanovski, obviously he's going to have to use his volume. You know what I mean? I think that to befuddle Ortega. But I think if Ortega can remain composed and not let the moment get too big and not fight Volkanovski's fight like he fought Holloway's fight when he first got a title shot, when he first got his first title shot against Max Holloway, that's what he did. He fought into a striking battle with Holloway. You don't do that. And that was Ortega's downfall. I don't think that he's going to make that same mistake twice, this time against Volkanovski. I think he's going to stay patient. He's going to utilize his range. He's going to utilize his, he has good boxing himself, but I also think he's going to utilize his wrestling a lot more. I just think Brian Ortega, honestly, is a better fighter overall, and we're going to see that flourish tonight. That's my opinion. You know, not taking nothing away from Alexander Volkanovski. He's a good fighter. I just never seen him as that great of a fighter. That's just me. I think that Brian Ortega, being that he's been in this spot before, being a challenger, I think he will make good on his previous mistakes. And the key for him is just don't fight Volkanovski's fight. Don't feed into what you fed into with the Max Holloway fight, which is you fought Max Holloway's game. If Brian Ortega fights his game, he will be the new UFC featherweight champion. I have Brian Ortega winning this fight by second round stoppage. I do. I was originally going to go with a submission, but I'm going to go with a stoppage. I think he can stop Volkanovski. I think if he remains composed, remains patient, and doesn't follow into what Volkanovski wants him to do, he can get him out of there in 2 rounds. So that's my prediction. I'm going Brian Ortega, second round stoppage, and your new UFC featherweight champion. But I want to know your opinion. Hit the comment section. Let me know what you guys think about this fight and this overall card tonight. Are you guys excited? And how excited are you that Nick Diaz is returning? And do you think he will pull out the victory versus Robbie Lawler? Or do you think Robbie Lawler will somewhat upset Nick Diaz and maybe send Nick into retirement? Hit the comment section. I want to know what you guys think. I also want to thank StreamYards for allowing me to broadcast my videos on their platform. It's so simple and easy to use. You know what I mean? If you're a beginning podcaster, YouTuber, etc., like I am, you know what I mean? Try out Streamlabs. It's definitely easy to use. It's so convenient. Everything you might want to put on overlays, green screen, etc., is all on there. Not much to stress about. And it's for a fairly decent price. You can go pro for $50 a month. That's not a bad price to go pro and go up to, I think it was like 10, have 10 guests in your stream. I think over 10 platforms you can stream to, etc., etc. So I just want to thank StreamYards for being such a good platform to use and for, being around, honestly, because it was rough when I first started these streams over a year ago using Streamlabs. Definitely will never go back to Streamlabs again. But this is my 717 SEL UFC 266 preview. As I said, I did want this stream to be a little bit longer, well, actually a lot longer, etc. But we're going to cut it short. I'm going to get ready to put the live commentary show together. So I see you guys there. But don't forget, hit the comment section. Let me know your guys' prediction for this card. Who do you guys have winning? Do you think Ortega can upset Volkanovski and become the new champion? Or do you think Volkanovski can withstand whatever Ortega has to offer and keep his belt? As well as, what do you think about the return of Nick Diaz? Are you excited? Are you not excited? Do you think it was a good idea for him to come back even at 38 years old? Do you think it was a mistake? As well as, who do you have winning the rematch between Nick Diaz and Robbie Lawler? Hit the comment section. I want to know what you guys think. But again, guys, this is 717 Sports Chat Live Preview, UFC 260. Marcus J. I am out of here. I will see you guys at 10 o'clock tonight for the live commentary show. If you do not feel like buying the pay-per-view, etc., and just want live round-by-round analysis of the main card and all the action from the main card, this is where you want to be. So don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support is greatly, greatly appreciated. As well as hit that notification icon so you can get all my latest content that I'm uploading, and as well as my latest live streams that I'm broadcasting. As well as, if you want to make a donation to the channel, hashtag 717SEL is the donation link. You can also find that donation link in my top right-hand corner of my YouTube channel. But all right, guys, I will see you guys at 10 o'clock for the live commentary show. Hope to see you there. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe as well. Hit that bell icon. And once again, if you want to donate, hashtag 717SEL is the link. I'm out of here till 10, and I will see you guys then.